adorned statement for precisely tailored fashion. Yves Saint Laurent still occupies the throne in the French fashion kingdom, producing truly everlasting collectible pieces.
At the studio, the secretary says that on Thursday and Friday, the phone never stops. She has 50, 60 phone calls the day after the show. Where can I get that? Can I order this? Can he make this for me? I have to know where I can get something that, look, can I get a sketch of the dress? All of these phone calls that come into the studio the day after the show. So it's, I mean, we love it. It's wonderful to know that this kind of attention. Listen, this is what I have prayed for 20 years. I'm not going to knock it down. So the 30s and the 40s. And I wanted to be a designer from the time I was, I don't know, 10 years old, I suppose, or 12 years old, because I loved film and I loved those beautiful ladies. And when I got to Hollywood, it was a rude awakening when I realized the glamour era was over. It was the end of an era, literally. And I have struggled through all of these years, and finally my prayers were answered with Dynasty, because there's no way that I can overdress them. I can do anything I want. I mean, I had my, what I called the clothes that fed my soul or something, my craving for glamour, because when I got here and finally got into business, I gathered up all of the ladies of the silver screen. Joan Crawford, Susan Hayward, Lana Turner, Barbara Stanwyck has been she was my first customer, and I make everything she wears today. She's still my love. Jane Wyman, Eleanor Parker. I had all of those ladies, Betty Davis, and I made their personal clothes.
It seems to me that it must be very difficult dealing with a lot of these stars, because most of them have such strong self-images.
Of course, but I was very aware when these ladies told me something. I listened to them. I didn't say, no, this is the dress and you're going to wear this. I knew that they had been looking at themselves on the screen for, 30, 40 years. They had had the most famous designers in the world designing for them. And after that many years, these ladies all know what is good on them and what is not good. When they told me that their waistline had to be an inch lower than their real waist, I knew that you know, so it was literally an extension of going to school, working for all of them. Do you feel bitchy?
Do I ever?
Besides his creative talent, Nolan Miller's personal charm has obviously been a great factor in endearing him to the stars he dresses. Take Eva Gabor, for example. She happened to drop by Miller's showroom while we were there and was eager to sing him praises.
There is nobody I want to work with but Nolan. I left a movie once because he couldn't do it.
Why? What's so great about Nolan?
He's the one and only. I just got in for a fitting and you got me without makeup, which is a disaster. And also my wrong side. But I came in for a fitting we're going to do Loveboat next week, and 5 changes, and today's Friday afternoon, and by Monday he'll have it.
How does it work, Ava? Do you walk in and ask Nolan what you should look like, or does he just tell you?
It's a joint venture, believe me.
Really,
we do. Oh, but I say, how about this? And she goes, but this, darling, and what about this? And let's do it off the shoulder. So we play back and forth.
Really, I trust him 100%. He's a great talent. And all of our
Well, I won't argue with you about
that.
that.
I'm so jealous of him that Joan and Linda has him more than I do. I can't stand it. I'm so jealous.
Now you don't have to be in Hollywood to be dressed by Nolan Miller. The people who produced Dynasty have decided to take advantage of his talents and the show's popularity and have begun to market a Dynasty line. It includes luxurious intimate apparel, elegant sportswear, exotic cruise wear, and of course, evening wear. The evening gowns sell for $400 to $700, while the sportswear is in the $350 to $450 range. While the designs are great, they can't really compare to the actual Dynasty costumes. After all, the wardrobe budget alone for the show is $25,000 an episode, and Nolan Miller admits he often goes way over budget. Still, he tries to economize.
These are just clothes from various shows that we have finished with that I bring back here and salvage the furs off. I'll take the collar off of this and use it on something else. I salvage anything because we never use the clothes a second time on the show.
What do you say to people who look at what you do and say it's all very decadent?
I think if it's the thing that motivates your life, then it may be a problem, but I certainly think that liking to get dressed up, looking pretty, feeling pretty, there's nothing decadent about that. And if they feel it's decadent, then I'm all for decadence. I love it.
Another devotee of glamour is San Francisco model come designer Elettra Cassidy. Seen here in her latest video, Cassidy graces her thoroughly modern dresses and gowns with flavors reminiscent of the 20s and 30s.
Body, but the most important ingredient of all is that she have a good self-sense of herself, that she's aware of who she is, and she has to be sort of proud of who she is. Oh, hey, stop. I see someone. Excuse me. Are you girls, are you a model?
No.
Are you a model? No. Are you interested in modeling?
Sort of. Well, I have some friends who are models.
Oh, and you?
Sure, I never thought about it.
Okay, so how tall are you?
5'9".
Both 5'9", great.
Hey, nice to see you.
Elmer Olsen Scouts for Bookings, one of Toronto's busiest agencies, established 5 years ago by former model Linda Hill.